Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Welcome back.
So we see here, this is CNN Politics. Texas GOP Chairman Alan West falsely says Texas could secede from the U.S. The quote is, "We could go back to being our own republic." So what do you guys make of this? Especially you guys that are in Texas or maybe in Florida. What is your take on this? Because to me, I think every state should have a right to decide their own opinion. That's just my opinion, their own opinion on things, whether they want to stay in a union or if they feel the union is failing their citizens. I feel like they should be able to secede. I just feel like that would be a God-given right, so to speak.
You'd think that would be like a common sense sort of thing.
It seems like it. Texas Republican Party Chairman Alan West falsely suggested that Texas could secede from the United States to become an independent country, a CNN K-File review of his comments in recent months shows. Okay, so they're reviewing his comments.
Indeed, they are. They're checking these things out, seeing, what is he talking about here?
Yeah, they're checking it once, checking it twice, gonna see who's been naughty or nice. And Alan West is being called naughty.
Oh, very naughty.
Yes. So in radio interviews after the 2020 election season, West suggested Texas could vote to again become a republic as it was before joining the United States in 1845. This is something that was written into the Texas Constitution, the former congressman said in one late December radio broadcast, or it was promised to Texas when we became part of the United States, that if we voted and decided, we could go back to being our own republic. Experts, however, say Texas cannot legally secede and leave the United States to become its own republic. The annexation resolution West is referring to stipulates that Texas could, in the future, choose to divide itself into 5 new states, not divide itself from the U.S., and declare independence. West misstood the congressional annexation resolution that made Texas a state for the Texas Constitution. Texas does have a history of secession. In 1861, Texas voted in favor of secession and later left the Union to join the Confederate States of America, setting the stage for American Civil War. After the Confederacy lost the war, the Supreme Court ruled that Texas had remained a state despite joining the Confederate States of America in an act of rebellion for 4 years, and that any acts ratified by the Confederate-era legislature were absolutely null. Texas eventually rejoined the Union in 1870, and again the Civil War ended in 1865. So it took 5 years for it to rejoin the Union officially. In the December broadcast, West added that while he supported a bill that would soon be introduced into the Texas State House in January, which would create a non-binding referendum election on whether Texans should secede, the bill, which has little chance of passing, you could tell there's a particular stance that the author has on this, without doubt. Doesn't really feel unbiased and impartial, but anyway, such is this world in these times. The bill, which has a little chance of passing, would allow for a vote on whether the state could form a committee to develop a long-term plan to secede. I do support the will of the people to be heard and allow the people to vote on this, said West in the same December interview. But I will tell you my official position is that I want Texas to lead, not so much as secede. West's comments on secession come as he repeatedly and baselessly questioned, you know what, and we better not go there. So I feel, and you guys speak up and let me know what you guys think. If you don't have a right to defend your own future and to make your own future, what do you have? If the majority of Texans say, we don't like what we're seeing, we think we could do it better for us, then why shouldn't they be able to?
I know this is a case where there seems to be some ownership happening here, and nobody, no soul, no entity, no piece of land, things should never be owned in any way.
Yeah, that's actually true. Yeah, the indigenous people of the globe never viewed anything as being owned, so to speak. It's kind of a concept that we've gotten, a Western concept. And again, look at, and really, again, it all boils down to Rome, and it boils down to Samaria, in my humble opinion. As we see this Texas timeline here, you see 1820, 1824, Mexico wins independence from Spain. Now, this is a world that's been all about conquering. All about conquering. I mean, there were people living in the Americas, to see quotes, and we were brought up with this, and so many of us didn't think there was anything wrong at first, because we were taught this in school, that Columbus discovered America. What about the 100 million people that were already living here?
I know. What about that? And that's just something that keeps getting glossed over year after year after year.
So, the Spanish and others, the English, the French, the Portuguese. South America is split basically kind of in half. Portugal took what is now Brazil. The rest was conquered by Spain, except for French Guiana. When we go on up into North America, there was a lot of battling going on between the French and the English and the Spanish. As we know, some of the first settlements of the Europeans was actually like St. Augustine by the Spanish. Charlestown, South Carolina, was established to basically kind of give a southern guard to the English forces. Charleston, named after King Charles, right? And, Louisiana was named after King Louis. Louisiana. We all know about the Louisiana Purchase. We know about the French and Indian War, and that's interesting that they call it the French and Indian War when the French and Indians were on the same side against the English. But what we see is it's just one conquering the other repeatedly. And this has been the way of the world. So 1820, 1824, Mexico wins independence from Spain, and then Austin founds a new colony up in Texas. And then we have 1824, Mexico encourages foreign settlement of Texas. They were actually encouraging people to go up and settle Texas. And then 1828, conflicts on the horizon. 1830, Mexico bans U.S. immigration. Aha! That's a little turn, a twist from back in time. Santa Anna in 1833 became the president of Mexico. 1833, 1834, Texans respond to Santa Anna, and Stephen F. Austin was imprisoned. 1835, Texas Revolution begins. Come and take it. And then Texas declares independence. 1836, of course, the famous Battle of the Alamo in the same year. The Battle of San Jacinto in the same year, and Texas wins independence. And they were the Texas Republic from 1836 till they were annexed by the United States. And as you saw, that was in 1846. So they had 10 years of complete independence there, and then they had 5 years of kind of limbo after the Civil War. The bottom line is, people should be able to make up their own minds in this world instead of being forced.
Oh, I know. And, if we look at this on a bigger scale, this is such an abusive relationship when it comes to the United States and its people. Cognitive dissonance is run rampant. It's horrible.
We know that in this country, which is so vast, there's a lot of different ideologies. And as we had been talking about, it seems like the Great Divide has been bigger than ever. And nothing's changed. I think that divide it's almost kind of set in stone right now. You're never going to convince, each side to adopt the side of, the point of view of the other. So then one side's always going to feel stifled. It's like a bad marriage.
Mm-hmm. It really is. I mean, and it's time to do something about it. But unfortunately, the one that's looking for freedom and the one that's looking to become something different is probably the one that's going to get punished.
Yeah, so we asked about that, and we said, are there going to be states that at some point in time are going to try to leave the Union? We asked the guides this, and we've gotten this in the past from the Galactics as well. And actually, from the Galactics, they said it kind of has to happen. There has to be a breakup because, there won't be any progress without a breakup, because what that's going to lead to is, you guys know, you've seen the script. We've watched it over and over again. Very Orwellian. We know what's coming and we know what's in the process. This is a real important time period. Do people have a right to choose their own way in life? That's kind of what we're boiling down to. Do individual people, individual collectives, even at a smaller level, counties, towns, cities, and certainly states, do they have any right to decide what they want to do?
Mm-hmm. I know, and it's the answer more and more is looking like, no, they don't. And if they do, they're going to pay for it.
Yeah. And so the guides, when we asked them,
they said, well, yeah, it's something that's probably going to happen maybe 5, maybe 10 years out, maybe 5, it's a feeling I get. That's why it's so difficult.
Well, I could see that if we had another cycle, like in 2024, like the one we just went through, it could be very explosive.
Yeah, it could be. But if people just get prepared now, take back your health, take back your individual rights now, you'll be ready to ride through it. And that's, in a way, I feel like that's kind of what we're doing. We're getting prepared to go for quite a while without being able to have access to certain conveniences at the store. It just feels like it.
Yeah, and with issues that we've had with the camper, we're used to not having running water now.
Right.
So we're used to doing dishes by a spigot, and back to, really paper plates and not cooking, so we are, I think, toughening up mentally, and living in, basically 100 square feet on a permanent basis right now. So I think it's good, because then little things like an actual hot shower, it's such a pleasure.
Oh, I know. It does put you in a place of gratitude for sure.
It does. But yeah, the bottom line is people should have the God-given right to decide their own fate and direction. And God agrees.
God agrees.
And so on that, we will bid you guys adieu. Thanks for being part of the family. I really look forward to your comments. Please do share your thoughts on this. And this is why we have spent so much time in Texas. For instance, we want to be wherever there's freedom. That's the first thing that is really coming after us, everybody on this planet. It's going to be like, there's another amen to that.
That's God confirmations.
Yes, that's the first thing that's under assault. We do have the climate change, the weather events that are going on and everything, and eventually maybe we'll have a magnetic pole reversal and crustal displacement and all that. But this is the number one thing we're facing right now. Mm-hmm. So let's put our prayer and intention that everybody out there listening will always be able to have freedom to choose whichever path they want in life.
Indeed, I agree.
God bless and namaste.
Namaste.